Hello everybody, I'm Dr. Suzanne Hetts, and welcome to my presentation on coyotes in the neighborhood, designed in partial fulfillment for the Certified Master Naturalist course. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. Coyotes are Arizona's most common predator in the family Canidae. They are found throughout the entire state, and their scientific name is Canis latrans, which means barking dog. In Arizona, coyotes are classified as predators by Arizona Game and Fish, but they can be hunted at any time as game, along with bobcats, raccoons, skunks, and foxes. Amazingly, the 13,000 hunters in Arizona kill between 30,000 and 40,000 coyotes every year, either while hunting other animals or hunting coyotes specifically. Trappers take around 700 animals every year. In 2019, Arizona banned organized contests where hunters kill the most coyotes for prizes, and they also banned the use of leg-hold traps. So these numbers may change in coming years based on these two legislative changes. Although it's been said coyote pelts do not have much value, that may also be changing. The top price at a recent Colorado auction hit $170, which was a 40% increase from 4 years ago. Arizona estimates that the coyote population is around 200,000. Contrary to some popular beliefs, increased urbanization does not always result in a loss of habitat for coyotes, nor does it always have a deleterious effect on coyote populations. Development often only temporarily displaces coyotes. They often return to the same areas after they've been developed because these areas meet their needs for, first, water from irrigation, from leaky hoses, from bird baths, and from decorative fountains, and for food based on bird seed, which often attracts critters coyotes eat as well, from garbage, from pets, and also from increased rabbit populations, as you see outlined here, and also meets the needs for cover from landscaping on golf courses and private homes. Sometimes it's easier for coyotes to live in many neighborhoods than it is for them to live in the desert. Coyote presence in neighborhoods evokes a continuum of reactions. Many people enjoy seeing neighborhood coyotes, while others become irate that Arizona Game and Fish is not doing more to eradicate them. Coyote educational presentations conducted by agencies in neighborhood meetings have been reported to dissolve into residents screaming at presenters because no one has been dispatched to trap or kill the coyote they've seen roaming or the one that attacked their pets. In fact, coyote bites to humans are pretty rare. The last bite to a person in the Phoenix area was in 2017 and happened to a 5 or 6-year-old girl in a park in North Scottsdale. She was not seriously injured. When Arizona Game and Fish investigated, they felt the coyote had a den nearby, and they also learned that neighbors had been feeding coyotes from their backyard barbecues. 2 recent bites in the Tucson area were likely from a coyote suspected to be rabid, the one that you see here laying on the pavement, and also another one to a woman in Tucson who was protecting her pet, and that one was also suspected of having been fed. Research of both newspaper and published articles from 1960 to 2006 found 159 bites to people in that 46-year period, and 13% of those occurred in Arizona. I could not find comparable data for the most recent 10 to 15-year period. The frequency of attacks on pets are not known. A survey of 22 veterinary practices in Tucson in 1997-8 found that 9 clinics had treated pets bitten by coyotes. If that's representative, then that would mean about 40% of veterinary practices are treating pet victims of coyotes, which seems a bit high. Coyote protective vests, as you see here, are not recommended by Arizona Game and Fish, as it only gives coyotes something more to hang on to if they're trying to drag the pet away, and plus it may draw attention to the dog because of its bright colors and unusual appearance. Unless coyotes have become habituated to people through feeding, they are more likely to avoid them. Coyotes were originally grassland animals before expanding their habitat, and as such were crepuscular, active primarily at dawn and dusk. In neighborhood areas, they are now seen throughout the day, as many of us know, but in areas where they have been persecuted or harassed, they've become even more nocturnal. An ongoing study by Dr. Jesse Lewis from ASU is using wildlife cameras to learn more about coyote activity patterns in the urban areas of Phoenix, and so may shed light more on how often coyotes are out at night. Coyotes form pair bonds that are long-lasting and can be for life. Groups, when they occur, usually consist of a breeding pair, which is a much better term than the somewhat outdated and not actually correct alpha terminology. So groups consist of a breeding pair and often that year's offspring, which may hang around until the next year's offspring are born. Coyotes may also travel as single individuals before they find mates but still have a territory to defend, or sometimes when they're just moving through another group's territory and are classified as nomads. Coyotes do defend their territories, which is one reason why relocation through trapping is often unsuccessful. When they are relocated into another group's territory, they either don't survive or they just try and return to their own territory. As for diet, coyotes are opportunistic predators and scavengers. They eat fruit, seeds, rodents, and other small mammals, including pets, unfortunately. Data from Arizona shows that rabbits may constitute as much as 75% of a coyote's diet, but that may depend on where the animal lives, as previous data from Tucson say that 35% of the coyote's diet was from human-related items. But when they do consume primarily small mammals and other species, that's really their contribution to a balanced ecosystem, to keep down the population of rabbits, rodents, and even perhaps cleaning up decaying fruit and roadkills. Coyotes do not need to hunt in packs to bring down prey as wolves do. Unlike in wolves, a group of coyotes is more beneficial for defending a food source, such as carrion, rather than acquisition of prey during hunting. Coyotes do not lure pets away to kill them, but may threaten them if they are too near their den or young. The coyote you see in this video is clearly playing with this dog and has become habituated to both pets and people through feeding, and sadly this coyote was euthanized several days later for harassing people in the neighborhood. In urban areas, the diet of coyotes may include too much garbage, and this may be a problem. A master's candidate at the University of Alberta in Canada analyzed the gut microbiome of 76 urban and suburban coyotes, and he found that urban coyotes were surviving on a protein-poor diet, which was affecting their gut microflora. The microbiome of these coyotes contained less of one specific bacterial group, Fusobacterium. Lower abundance of this particular type of bacteria have been loosely associated with increased aggression in dogs. So the same possibility may exist for coyotes as well. But clearly much more research is needed in this area before jumping to conclusions about the effect of diet and gut microflora on behavior. Arizona Game and Fish manages coyotes as predators according to the guidelines that you see here that are based on a number of considerations. These management guidelines may also include aerial shooting under certain conditions. When Arizona Game and Fish Dispatch receives a coyote call, the incident is rated from 1 to 4, with 1 being a bite and 4 being a mere sighting. A site visit only happens in response to a bite, or if the coyote's behavior is described as abnormal and possibly indicative of rabies. There are several challenges in managing coyote-human interactions in neighborhoods, but the primary one is the need for education. People do not understand how their neighborhoods may be providing perfect coyote habitat, even inadvertently. Second, most folks are not well informed about coyote behavior. The vast majority of coyotes sighted are displaying normal behavior when seen. Third, people are unaware of how easily coyotes can become habituated to people through feeding and of the dangerous consequences of actively feeding coyotes. Fourth, people are unaware of all the steps that they can take reasonably to keep their pets safe. Fifth, there's no evidence that coyotes that kill pets or attack pets are more likely to escalate to biting people. And sixth, there seems to be unrealistic expectations about how Arizona Game and Fish responds to coyote sightings. And secondly, people are uninformed about their coyote management policies and what they're based on. When educational sessions result in emotional confrontations, that supports what past research has recommended, which is that we need to know more about what type of educational presentations produce the best results for managing coyote-human interactions. And they've also recommended the development of a standardized reporting form to better understand the circumstances of bites to people as well as attacks on pets so that we can be more effective at preventing them. The information about coyote incident reports to Arizona Game and Fish is not currently being analyzed for a variety of good reasons that are too complicated to go into here. Coyotes and people will continue to share habitats, and we will continue to see them in our neighborhoods. It's up for us to develop strategies to coexist successfully with them and to learn to appreciate them for their adaptability and the contribution that they make to healthy urban and suburban ecosystems and to the quality of our neighborhoods and the habitats that we share. There's much more to be said about coyotes, but I'm out of time, so I will say goodbye and thanks for listening.